President of the United States should have full autonomy whenever he wants to deploy the National Guard. What you see right now out in California, specifically in Los Angeles, there are ongoing protests about ICE agent coming into the city. And what you see right now, again, with Los Angeles, the governor, Gavin Newsom, is pushing back Donald Trump and his deployment of the National Guard. But as you've seen in the last couple of nights, there have been not only protests, but there has been riots. Now, the President of the United States, you've seen what happened in Minnesota when the President does not get involved. The city and the state burn. So right now, the President of the United States is deploying the National Guard into California to calm down the protest that's going on in the state right now. But Gavin Newsom said Donald Trump does not have this authority to send in the Guard. I disagree. At any point, if the President feels that one of the states in the Union is under protest, under siege, he has the right to deploy the Guard, and that's what Donald Trump is doing right now. Not only that, he is sending in 700 Marines to ensure that these ICE agents and their duty to carry out their task is not hindered in any way. As you know, there are, of course, a lot of people in California and even across the United States are upset with what's going on right now about immigration, how these ICE agents are deployed to certain cities to get out the illegal immigration. Immigration. The issue and the topic about immigration has been ongoing since the United States, specifically we've seen in the last several decades. It's a very complex issue, and how do we resolve it? But I want to make this thing clear. As you watch my show, you know, and I mentioned it several times, there is a place for immigrants to come to the United States, but they must do it in a legal way. They have to come through the port of entry. What we have in the United States now is people overflowing and pouring our country, especially specifically, you think back during COVID, where you have people coming in and you have no idea where these people are coming from. Have they been radicalized? Also, the people in the United States will require health screening to make sure we don't spread COVID, but when they were coming through, specifically pouring across the border, under Biden administration, they weren't checking for COVID, so you can't have it both ways, right? You want people to come here legally, but you also want to ensure that the American people are safe. And that's not what's going on right now in Los Angeles. So the President of the United States felt it is under his duty, under his watch, his authority to deploy the National Guard. Now here's where Gavin Newsom pushed back. Gavin Newsom is stating, I never asked for this. And in fact, he's saying that Donald Trump is inciting more of the riot by deploying the National Guard. But you have to go back to the election. The American people knew where Donald Trump stood on immigration. To say that Donald Trump is against legal immigration is disingenuous. That is absolutely not true. And we've seen it several times in the campaign trail where he is for legal immigration, but people must go through the proper channel. They have to go through the legal port of entry. And that's not what's happening here. And now with this protest night after night, specifically in Los Angeles, he has no other choice but to send in the National Guard. But I will credit Gavin Newsom for something. As you heard, I mentioned on my show, the action that we've seen by Newsom, there's no doubt in my mind that he is going to run for president in 2028. But Gavin Newsom always also took this time to condemn the people that are rioting, people that are burning up vehicles, looting. He makes sure to condemn them. So that's to Gavin Newsom's credit. He's doing an excellent job on this, because we've seen in the past where certain cities and certain leadership in certain cities and states, when they see people protest, peaceful protest is fine, but when you turn into a riot, it is up to the politician to go in and condemn these acts. And we don't see that. New York Representative Alexander Ocasio-Cortez, Maxine Waters, representative from California. We see these people and they say essentially fight fire with fire. There's a place in our society where you don't agree with the government official, you don't agree with certain policy. It is within your right to protest and to make sure your voice is being heard. But when protests turn to riot, that is unacceptable. There's no place in our society for people to loot business, destroy government property, go after law enforcement when all they are doing is carrying out and doing their job. And as I said previously, this is an ongoing issue, and recently the court has said Trump has the authority to deploy the guards even without the consent of the governor, which in this case is Gavin Newsom. So I want to hear your thoughts on this. Where do you fall on this? Does Donald Trump has full autonomy? Should he be given full autonomy? Being the president of the United States, is under his authority, under his watch. If he sees something that is getting out of control, getting out of hand, not just to score political points, but to make sure that people understand. And over 80 million Americans voted for Donald Trump and how he's going to handle the issue of immigration, and how the ICE agents are going to round up these bad actors, these thugs, the MS-13, the people that are not supposed to be here in this state, and return them to the home country or wherever they may go, but they may not be here in the United States to harm the American people. Again, thank you for watching my show. I want to hear your thoughts on this, your perspective, and how is this going to be handled moving forward, because this is unsustainable when you have the governor who is so combative and not willing to work with the United States. Now he's going through the courts and saying Donald Trump hasn't got the authority to deploy the guard. But if Donald Trump is not going to handle this, then Gavin Newsom has to handle it. And so far he's not doing that. All he is going on and these podcasts, these shows, and if anything, he is inciting it because he's not dealing with what the core issue is. He's telling Donald Trump to stand down. Well, if Donald Trump is going to stand down, then Gavin Newsom, it is your job and your responsibility, being the head of your state, you have to handle this situation, because the protest is not going away, the riot is not going away. The ICE agents are supposed to be in California. They are fulfilling their duty and their job, and they need to have the liberality to carry out these orders. Let me hear your thoughts. Please give this video a thumbs up. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please take a second and smash the subscribe button. Again, thank you for watching my show. I'll see you next time.